Oh, hey y'all. Oh, I wasn't gonna say hey y'all anymore. Hey everyone.
But it wouldn't be the same if you didn't say it.
I know. Hey guys. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are
How are
you?
you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. It's nice outside. Kalani was just sharing with us that we have some thunderstorms brewing. So we're gonna try to, yeah, really severe ones too. So we're gonna try to go to dinner, take cover, and just enjoy the rainfall. Yeah, and just enjoy the rain falling.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right.
Sounds like a plan.
From the house.
Exactly. So today, everyone, we have Kevin Dixson, Tanya's husband, and we have my dad, Mr. Claude Graham. So I'm so excited because it's both of their first times being on the show.
Yes, it is.
So I think this is great for Father's Day. And what we wanted to do was Mother's Day, we always give them all the glam and the glitz. We wanted to show the world that there are some good dads out here making it happen. And it is what it is. So the podcast, this icebreaker today, we were just going to discuss. We had our first picnic yesterday.
Took out.
Yes. Thank you for correcting me. And I corrected it on all the posts too. So we had our first cookout yesterday. And it was actually fun. We got rained out at the park. But needless to say, my parents allowed us to host in their homes. So it was beautiful. It turned out really nice. Everybody showed up. How did you guys? Did you guys enjoy it?
Yeah, it was fun.
I had a really good time. And Keila, once again, I just want to thank you for all your work that you put in. I know I was like, calm down, Keila. We don't need all that. But in the end, everything that you did was so worth it, including getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, securing our spot at Heritage for it to pour down rain. You never lost your spirit. You just packed everything right back up, you and your parents, and we moved things to their house. So I thank the Grahams too, because to be able to welcome, how many people were there yesterday?
It was well over 30.
Yes, at the last minute to welcome all of us. So thank you, Claude Graham. Thank you, Doris Graham. Seriously, it was nice. We had a good time.
We did.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome. So with that being said, we're gonna get started. I'll let Tanya introduce Kevin when we come back, and then I'll introduce my dad when we come back first, and then Tanya introduced her husband. So with that being said,
my baby daddy.
Your baby daddy, where are we going today, guys?
All the way there.
Hello, everyone. Again, I'm just realizing that Tanya sent me 50 million texts today to let her in. I didn't realize she was. I thought it was just there. You were sending out an SOS. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like, let me in. Yeah.
So today we have my dad on, who obviously knew me since birth. So with that being said, my dad, he's been married. They'll be married. Him and my mom would be married almost 50 years this year.
Wow.
That's the blessing.
It is.
That's what I said. Ain't just that the same?
What?
Almost 50 and we'll be 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
This year, what day? When is the anniversary?
October.
Okay.
We'll be married. Yeah. It will be 50 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is.
So he's the father of 2 brilliant daughters. I'll start with myself.
You have to laugh at that kid.
I'll start with myself being the oldest, and then my sister Kiana, you all know. He is the grandfather of 3 beautiful granddaughters, Angel, who is 18, Kia, 16, and Kaylin, who is 14, right? My brother-in-law, Sean, he's the father-in-law. He retired from General Motors in 2002 after 32 years of employment. He's a deacon at his church for over 20 years. He's a licensed and ordained minister. He served as hospital chaplain and jail ministries. And he enjoys fishing and traveling. And they also take the kids camping every year, which I do not have the patience for it. All that stuff I be get together. I'm like, we might as well just go to a hotel and hire a caterer because I don't want to pack all that food and stuff together. Not to go camping and go cook. No, that's my dad, everybody. We say happy Father's Day to Kevin and my dad. And then Tanya, you can introduce us to Kevin.
So this is Kevin Leon Dixon, the first, father of Kevin Dixon the second. Well, I just said that because Kevin Dixon is the second. And then twins, Tay and Zari, who are 17, Cohen, who's 16, and Lana, who is 15. We've been married, it'll be 22 years. Thank you. See, he knows. Yeah, nice. In August. Yeah. Oh, he's just trying to beat me to it because he remembers. That's so. Oh. Yes. 22 years in August. Yeah. So this is Kev. He is like, I call him the coach chameleon because the only sport that you really played was football, right? Was it football?
Basketball and baseball when I was little.
Little, okay, but through high school and college, he played football and ran track. But our kids are very athletic because of him. And so he coached.
No, it's just because of me.
I said that part. Lots of comedians on here. He's coached hockey as a bench coach. Never been on skates before. That was funny. He's coaching softball team for Taya. He helped Lana when she had to sing at a game. He was like her voice coach. Football for Kevin, track. So whatever they're doing, it's just like he just takes on the role and just becomes their number one fan, cheerleader, coach, to the point where they're like, Mom, can you tell Dad to like calm down a little bit? Because he goes all the way there. He goes hard with the kids. And for that, I do appreciate.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you guys on today. Like, it's an honor. It's an honor. It's an honor. So what we wanted to do was, like we were saying previously, mothers, people go all out for Mother's Day all the time. And we wanted to show the world out there that there are some great dads. And it's not just obviously limited to you two. It's a lot of great dads out here, but we all in a world of social media. People tag so many bad fathers and post about what they're not doing and where they at and taking care of everybody else's kids and not mine. But we know people who are actually good dads that are taking care of their own children. So we're going to start off with our first question. We'll go to Mr. Graham first. So, did you always see yourself being a dad, even as a child? Like, what did it look like to you? Or you just was like, I ain't even thinking about no kids? Because, him and my parents, they got married pretty young and they got married pretty fast. So I just wonder, like, did you even have time to think about that?
I thought about having children and having a family at a young age. Thought about having a wife at a young age. I even prayed about finding a good wife. I can remember praying around when I was around about maybe 14, 15, that, I asked God to give me a good wife. I prayed about a job at that age. I said, because I prayed about a wife, I can remember saying, well, I'm going to need a job to take care of her. Mm-hmm. So I prayed about a job. So, yeah, I thought about it at a young age.
Okay. Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, and you got everything, too. You're so blessed, and especially praying for a wife and a job. And you must have had a good job to be able to retire in 2002. You're such a young man, Claude Graham. You retired already?
I know, he's been retired for a long time. Look, Angel didn't even get to see him working. She So that's a blessing. Well, I mean, that's even good to know. I did not know that about my dad. I definitely was not praying about a husband at 15. I knew I wanted one, but I wasn't praying for him. But Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, growing up, I never thought about marriage. I was always focused on just really myself and just the things I wanted to accomplish in life first. I knew that once you have kids, then everything was going to change. So I got married 28, a little bit late in life. But I always had a good example between my parents. So I knew what a good father looked like, and I knew what a good family would look like. And I wanted to exemplify that, what I saw with my parents and growing up. I kind of find myself just always saying that, you know, I'll eventually get there. I knew I wanted to get married and have kids, but I never thought about having 5 kids. Time when a big family, I didn't, you know, so we kind of, God just blessed us. Because the good thing about it is they told her that she wouldn't have kids. And people ask me, well, how'd you have so many kids? I always tell people that, you know, you never marry a woman when the doctor said you can't have kids, because God's going to bless that woman.
Wait, Kim. Well, how long have your parents been married, though?
Oh, about 50, over 50 years.
Yeah.
50 years.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, so it was always it was a blessing, because I had a lot of friends with parents that got divorced, and a lot of the kids in my neighborhood looked up to my parents. They called us the Huxtable family. I hated that, you know, but you're right. But as I got older and I thought about that, it was basically what the kids were saying, that my parents were examples to them what a family should look like. So I was always blessed, and I always wanted to be a blessing when it was my turn to have kids and have a family.
That is a blessing. People did that to us on the block too. So Kevin, I can relate. And I'm like, what? But I still remember the first time, was it Shama that came over to the house and he had made a joke, like, y'all got a bread box? Like, why y'all got a bread box? Like, we didn't keep bread in a box. We just kept the bread. Sean, do you remember? Yeah, Sean still say that. Keon say Sean still say that. It was so funny, but Sean say the Black Brady Bunch. We did. A lot of the kids on our block, because some of them had 2 parents, but a lot of them had single parents, even around in our age. And they would be like, you know, y'all like the epitome of, like, we wasn't the perfect family, but I guess, you know, on the outside looking in, people felt that way.
Right.
So the next question is there anything that your parents did that you thought you would never do when you had children, but find yourself doing? What about you, Dad? Okay.
Wait, what did you say?
You're gonna keep it light. My dad's dad was hilarious.
No, we want you to go all the way there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go about this far.
Okay.
You know, one thing my parents, really my mother did was, you know, when it started getting a little dark, they told us to come and sit on the porch when the street lights come on, in other words. Mm-hmm. I hated that. I really hated it. And I said to myself, I'm not going to do that to my children. You know, when I get some children, I'm not going to make them come in and sit on the porch when those street lights come on. Come on, but when I got some, I made them do it. So on this porch, when the street lights come on, you know, when they got a certain age, when they was able to go out and play by themselves and stuff like that, I wanted them in. So I'm gonna keep it on the light side. I ain't gonna tell y'all some of them deep, dark secrets.
Oh, we like the deep and dark. We do. But I will say, yeah, they did that, and we were always a joke on the block, because when the street lights came on, people be like, they had a chant for me and my sister. When the street lights come on, Kiki and Kiana is gone. When the street lights so I would take off before the street lights came on, because I didn't want to do that chant. And then sometime they would preserve it for the next day. So I hated it. Like, I hated it with a passion. That was the street chant. That just brought back some weird memories. but what about you, Kevin?
Usually, I was always getting in trouble when I was little. I got spanked. I didn't get spanked, I got whoopings. I remember one time. Yeah, that's right. I remember one time my brother and I, we would always throw rocks and always do things like that. and we hit the. I threw a rock and hit the babysitter right here, the eyebrow, with a rock. And I mean, just blood just started gushing out. She got so scared, she ran all the way around the block, ran home, and I got in serious trouble for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I always said I wouldn't spank my kids, but I did spank them a little bit, not as bad as what I got because they didn't do what I did. But the funny thing that comes to mind too is my father would always say, boy, you're gonna find yourself getting off the floor. You keep on talking. And I said I would never say that, and I find myself saying that to my kids.
Yes, you do that because I can think of sometimes like what some things my parents did, and I said I wasn't gonna do or say, and I would find myself repeating it. And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
after you said, do you remind yourself like I said I wasn't gonna never do that?
Yeah, right.
Kalani, do you find yourself doing things that your parents might have did that you said you might not have done as an adult?
Not yet.
Okay, but just period, because you know how sometimes our parents or our mother might say something, you be like, I ain't gonna never do that.
So I said I wasn't gonna say, or do certain things, and so far I haven't. So.
Okay.
that was my life's mission.
Well, good for you. Look, we're gonna ask you this same thing next year when your baby get here. She's not pregnant now. She's getting married. We're just saying, so nobody gonna be all over the blog talking about that's why she getting married. No, that's not it.
Right.
So now the third question is, well, my dad, and then I'll switch it up for you, Kevin, because you have a sister and brother. But my dad grew up with all brothers. So what was it like to father all girls?
Well, it was a little different because when with boys, we fought a lot in the house, and sometimes with girls, I found out sometimes they're fighting and you don't even know they're fighting. They're in the room and you just hear something moving around and they're saying something. I don't know what's going on. I go in there and find out, and they fighting each other. But but when I was coming up, if we was fighting, everybody knew about it.
Yeah.
Boys shake
right.
the tables.
Right. One day I can remember my older brother, he was telling me what to do, and I had made up my mind. I said, look, you're not gonna be telling me what to do no more. So we got to fight. But we went from the living room to the kitchen. Fighting. And then we fell up against our kitchen table and it broke down. And we stopped fighting then. We got together and we propped up the table and put it back up. And we left. And when my mother came home from the grocery store, she was putting the groceries on the table and the table just fell down. And we had a little brother. We had a little brother. We blamed it on him.
Oh, that's awful.
Around. We blamed it on him. So, but she didn't believe it.
Of course
Hey, but just the difference between boys and girls.
not. Right.
I had to adjust with daughters. And I love my daughters, and then they came up. I never had any problems with them or anything like that. But boys and girls are just different. Just the way they act around the house and the way they talk to each other and treat one another. Because when I came up, I played hard. Right. We played cards or we played games, and we came at each other real hard. I started playing with them. I started playing with my wife, and they get mad at me because I'm coming at them hard. Just like
I'm like, dang, everybody calm down. Like, Daddy, wait, we ain't. Like, you really treat us like we a girl.
like I was raised. Come down hard, we play with them, Well, I don't think it was rough, but for women.
Yeah, because there was plenty of times you'd be like, Dad, we're girls. And then how come you never let us win? Like, other fathers let their daughters win. And then he'd be like, well, you lost. You lost. John talking about Keela comes hard now. That is so not true. That is so not true. Okay, but Kevin, you had a brother and a sister, and then you have girls and boys. So do you see the difference, like from when you were growing up with your brothers and sisters? Like how do you compare the two as you're being a father with your girls and boys?
Yeah, and it's about the same. I know, like Claude was saying, my brother and I, when we would fight, we would go hard, we would fight. And then with my sister, all we had to do is say something to her, and she would start crying.
Right.
She would always tell my father. We used to hate that, But one thing I want to say is, like, raising girls is, my twin girls, they're so athletic. And when they were born, Time was really mad because she thought she was going to have these all girly girls and have these kind of girly girl mother relationships. They want nothing to do with that.
Look, they did dance for like a half a year.
Half a year.
I'm like, come on, we're gonna go to dance class. They're like, seriously. I mean, they quit. Okay, they're like, we can't do this. There's softball. There's other stuff I could do. But go ahead.
Okay. They're so happy to put that dance up. So they don't want anything to do. So they would relate to me, because they love sports, and by the kids being close in age with their brothers, it was more adaptable for them to pick up sports and they were kind of tomboys, but now they're not tomboys. Now I can see as they've gotten older, now I can see the difference. But the youngest girl, she didn't like sports at all. Now she was really a girl. I mean, she tried to tell me what to do. Oh my goodness.
She wants us to call her Queen Lana.
Yeah.
Sound like
Like, what?
Yes, I said, look, boy, but there's no handbook to prepare me for this, because she told me, my dad, when I was 16, you get my Tesla, right? I said, Tesla?
Oh,
And she is serious. And I said, well, what? God's going to bless you. She said, okay, well, I guess he is.
I know. Let me just jump in and say too that I noticed, like with Kev, with Lana versus Tanzari, because they're used to being coached. Okay. So he could have like a harder voice with them, and they know how to say, like, okay, you have a hard voice with Lana. She's like ready to cry. I mean, she'll read you in a minute, and then she like go up to her room. Like, what? I think she just told us off because she's more sensitive because she's not used to being coached. And then with like with the girls having brothers like Tanzari, they could dish and they could take it because they play with Kevin and Cohen. And this is one thing too that Kev does with them. He don't play with them any different than he does with Kevin and Cohen. So when they're out playing football, because the girls, they like to play football or playing basketball, they know they have to play hard. And one thing that Kev, Cohen, and little Kevin does with them is say, if you want to play with us, then you have to play like us. And so that's what they do. So that's part of the fathering that he's handed on down to the girls, just like he treats the boys. So that any sport that they play, their coaches, like, they put them like in the toughest spot because they know they're resilient and they can take it because they have their brothers. Because there's always been a rule. You want to play with us, you got to play like us. They have never backed up off of them. And so even if Lana wants to play with them, she knows she has to play like them too. She gets an attitude about it and be ready to fight. And, she'll say some words to hurt your feelings. Because she can't, she has hurt many feelings up in here. But they're tough. And so I think I'm grateful that Kev treats them that way because they'll know what to expect out in the world.
Yeah, and that's why I did that because, especially like, being Black, you always have to do extra.
Yes.
Than what what our counterparts have to do. They don't, they didn't really understand that, and now they're starting to see that in the sports that they play, and as they get older, that it's nothing wrong with being the best, but you have to be the best, and you have to give it your all. Because not only is it going to affect you, but people are watching you. Yeah. There's always someone watching you. So you have to always perform your best, and it's not about being better than someone else. It's all about making improvements to yourself and bettering yourself. That's why I treated them like that. Now as they got older, I kind of scaled it back, because now that they're twins are a little more sensitive a little bit, but I don't scale it back, with the boys.
I think it's true too, even like with parenting though, because I feel like sometimes my parents were a little bit more delicate with my sister. And I used to be like, my dad just came down here and yelled at me to the top of the roof, and then he'd be like, "So Kiana,
just what? That comes from being the oldest. I think they take a lot. We being the oldest kids, we get the brunt of everything. It's like
I might have some truth to it because I'll be like, okay, guys, I'll be back after I go pick my face up off the floor. And then I'm coming back outside, right?
No, you know what? With that, your children got different personalities.
Exactly.
Right.
They're different, so you know what to do to one and what one can take and what another can take.
You think I could take more?
Yeah, you can't come at Keila with no, please, you can't come at her like that. She gonna run over you.
Yeah.
Gianna would listen to you. She got her own mind. She's gonna do what she want to do. So with your children, you learn your children and you treat them accordingly.
That is so true.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree. And I'm sure Kev agrees too, because we have 5 of them over here. And right now, 19, 17, 17, 16, and 15, all in the same family. They do have some of the same qualities and characteristics, but they're also different. Mm-hmm. So I may be able to approach Cohen different than what Kev does. Mm-hmm. Because I'm the mom and he's the dad, but we have a different approach to things, but we still approach them as like individuals. Yeah. So Claude is definitely true. Yeah, Q, I'm sure you're probably, I'm sure you're excited.
Well, I only have one, so I can't be in like conversation with comparing the personalities. I only have one kid.
But you know that you're different than your sister, right?
Well, yeah, I know that, but don't be fooled by my sister, y'all. Please don't. She may sit back, but I'm gonna tell you, she come up from the rear real fast, and that's how people get clotheslined without realizing it. Now, please don't take her lightly, because she might not speak up as fast as me, but when she come in, it's like lightning. So that is part of our characteristics, like you said, Tanya, that are similar. I may speak up faster, but she definitely ain't gonna be. She ain't no pushover.
Yeah,
at all. Now this one is okay, Kevin. You can give us a story about your kids with Daddy, like me or Kiana. Like, give a funny story. I was trying to keep the show a little light, so give a funny story that you thought was funny, like when I was growing up or something.
Well, it was kind of funny and not so funny. Keila was a child that you had to be very specific with. You had to tell her direct what you want her to do. She should have been a lawyer. If she gonna find a loophole, she gonna find a loophole. So I told Keila and Kiana one day, I say, listen, when me and your mother is not home, I don't want anybody in the house. She said, okay, Dad. So I came back the next day when I came back from work. I had a bunch of people on my porch, bunch of kids on my porch. I said, Keila, I told you I didn't want anybody in my house. They ain't in the house, Dad. They on the porch. I said, okay. I said, I don't want them in the house. I don't want them on the porch. So she said, okay, Dad. So when I came back from work the next day, in front of the house.
Keila.
I said, girl, I don't want people around my house, period.
I was like, but you didn't say that. Yeah. But then listen, the next day.
The next day I came home, they was at the neighbor's house. I couldn't say nothing about that because it was in somebody else's. But that's what with Keila, you have to tell her exactly what you want. If you don't, she gonna find a loophole.
I love it.
And you said not. So when they were in the neighbor's yard, and look, then when my dad was pulling up, coming home from work, we had a fence that divided us. So they were all lined up on the fence, talking to me across the fence because I had to stay home. And so they were like, "Hey, Mr. Graham," like when he was going past, and my daddy looked at me. I'm like, "Well, they're not in our yard." Neighbors. That was hilarious. But yeah, so I can think of some times when like I got in trouble. Like the one time I was telling y'all when my dad, my mother gave us a whooping one time. And so me and my sister, after my mother went upstairs, we were downstairs. Like she didn't even really whoop us that hard. Like she thought she was doing something. So my dad came home from work and he came down the stairs and he was like, "Oh, y'all want to find something to laugh about? Y'all want to find something to laugh?" And I'm like, wait a minute, we already got our whooping for the day. Like, what is this? And parenting, Tanya, I don't know, you and Kevin, we couldn't like really pit our parents against each other, like how some people can pit. So like we'd go to one parent and then my daddy be like, "Well, what's your mama say?" I still gotta go ask her. You know what I'm saying? Like he was asking you because we knew you probably wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kevin, can you think of some funny stories with your kids growing up?
Yeah, I have one. I actually have a couple. The first one was with Lana. She was maybe like 5 or 6 with the soccer.
Oh yeah.
About 5 years old. And so since they were close in age, they played I-9 soccer. So I would tell the coach, just put my kids all on, team. So I don't want to make, pay for 4 different teams. So I went out and bought them shoes and soccer pads and everything. So we bought Lana some hot pink ones,
Nike.
Some Nike.
She helped pick out.
Yeah, she helped pick out. And so I was so excited she was going to play soccer. She didn't really care about sports. And so the morning we arrived there, everyone got out of the car and all the kids started warming up. And so when the game started, Lana was standing on the sideline. I said, "Lana, aren't you going to play?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" "I'm just going to walk up and down the sideline because I look cute in my I was so mad. I paid all that money for her to play, and she never played.
She did not.
Not one time.
I say serious. She had like a model stroke.
Yeah.
It's like
That is so hilarious.
no dirt. Her stuff still looks like new. I'm like, "Lana, are you serious?" And the coach was like, "Come on, Lana." She was like, "No, I'm good."
Yep.
No, I'm not playing. I'm like, "You had us buy all this stuff for you," and she was like, "No." Mm-mm.
That is hilarious.
Like, wow, she set us up.
So yeah, she did. So I knew right then and there that she wasn't the one that really cared about sports. She cared about fashion and how she looked. Now, if you come in there with some clothes on, she'll tell you, "Oh no, I don't like that." Now, the other kids, they don't have that kind of gift. Now she does, and she'll tell you, no, why are you wearing that?
It's definitely that. I told Tanya that's her little production. That's when she'd come in the room to say something to Tanya. She'd be like, "Ma, you wearing that shirt?" Let me go change my shirt, y'all. I'll be back.
And she's so serious, she'll have this look in his face and it make you start doubt, maybe this is bad.
Start questioning yourself.
That's right.
That is so funny. You end up doing something like that because you kind of say she's like she loves all of that stuff. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
She does.
And then one quick one, she's always around the house when she was younger. She would change her clothes about 4 or 5 times a day.
Yeah.
She would come on, she'll put on a dress and then come downstairs. And then another hour later, go put on another dress and she would come downstairs. And she did that for like several years. We said, "Lana, why are you wearing all these clothes?" She said, "I just feel like changing. I just want to look so cute."
So like she seriously had like a dinner outfit.
Yep.
She had like a sit down and watch the TV outfit. And I think this is probably why Kevin is telling, because Kev, bless him, happy Father's Day for real. He does like all the laundry in the house. And Lana's laundry will like pile up. Because she not only will she change all day, she will put all the stuff that she wears on like the dirty clothes. After she takes it off, I'm like, it's not even dirty. But she's like, "But I had it on." I mean, seriously.
Hilarious. So she is definitely your fashion child.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure is.
Okay, so then this was our final question for the day. What is some advice you want to leave with all the dads here on All the Way There podcast? Like, what's something that you can leave to resonate with them? Developing, they haven't become fathers yet, or they already are fathers, inactive fathers, however, whatever direction you want to go in.
Well, I guess first thing I would say, with your children, because none of us, when we first start off having kids, know exactly what to do. We just mimic our parents and hope for the best. We try to do the best with it we can. And I think the more you listen to your children and seeing what direction they're coming in, try to guide them and lead them, just having an ear to hear what they're saying. Sometimes as parents, we don't really hear what our children are saying before we jump to conclusions and stuff like that with them. I think if we listen to them, love them, guide them, and like Kevin said, nothing wrong with whooping.
Yeah.
If the Bible said if you beat them, they won't die. So there's nothing wrong with disciplining them, listening to them, and just guiding them. Just the best, and do the best you can. We only human. We make mistakes as parents. Sometimes I think sometimes parents are too hard on themselves, and because they want to be perfect. And that's not going to happen. There's no perfect people around here. There's only one perfect person, that was Jesus. So we just do the best we can and love your children. Just love them. Love them.
Right.
That's fine.
What about you, Kevin?
Yeah. I would say, as a father, don't lead by your words, but lead by your actions. Because a lot of times, as parents, we as a father, we would say do this and do that, but we're not doing it ourselves. But as fathers, we also have to hold ourselves accountable. And if we lead by our actions, then now you're making yourself as a father accountable to what you tell your kids. Because one thing I always tell my kids, I expect you to do the best and be the best. I don't expect you to be someone that you're not. I always expect you to work within the frame that God's created you to be. God didn't create you to be like Johnny down the street. He created you to be like yourself. So I always would say, if I've asked them to do something, then they'll see me doing it in my life. Because I think that's the greatest way to show kids that they have to lead by example. I have to lead by example. They have to see what I'm doing. Because if they see what I'm doing, then it makes it a reality for their lives.
That's very true. That's very true. I still remember when my dad, when he said he was gonna be saved, right? And we were going to the church. He came home and threw away all the records. Remember that? And I'm thinking, we didn't even listen to Michael Jackson. Like, we are not that saved. Well, then he was that saved. But I'm just saying, like, it's a blessing to have a person. And piggybacking off of what Kevin said, a person that decides that this is the way we're gonna live, and then they live it. Not just say, okay, y'all, I listen to Michael Jackson, and then when I borrow his car, I get in the car and it's something else playing. Well, it was always some word playing on my daddy car. Look, we started learning how to switch the stations back. When we borrow his car, we would be like, boom, then like, you better put that back on 105.7. But yes, that is a perfect example. And my brother-in-law has been on a thread, and even to my own daughter's dad, he's an excellent dad. I'll give a shout out to him because we've done the co-parenting thing, and with my daughter, he's been an excellent father. Like, I hear other people's stories, and on that end, I couldn't have picked a better person for that, and I appreciate that. And then my brother-in-law, Sean, who is also an awesome dad. I appreciate him too, the way he raised his girls, and even my own daughter, because he pours into my own daughter life as if she's his own. And I appreciate that too, because sometimes people be like, well, that's not my kid, and I look up to that, and I appreciate that, because Angel often listens to him a lot, and she loved his funny stories, so she always be like, Uncle was saying. And Uncle was saying, so I appreciate that when you pour into somebody else's child. It's important. You need that village around you when you are trying to raise your kid a certain way, people who are going to be doing the same things. And with that being said, Kalani and Tanya, do you guys have anything? Because the All the Way There podcast award today is just going to go to the dads, the good dads. The dads that are trying to be better dads, if you are not active in your kid's life, I don't believe that no time is too late. Unless you reach an adult that decided they did not want a relationship. But even with that, pray about it, and hopefully some things can develop, because those relationships are important. They're important if it's something you want. I'm not talking about going to a relationship that's dysfunctional. I'm not talking about that. I mean, you have to weigh off those options, but be a part of your kids' lives if you can. But before we did go, I did have some pictures. Tanya, I wanted her to load up some pictures, but I know that's okay. I'm just glad Kevin was able to come on the show because we wasn't sure he was going to be present. So I loaded a few pictures up with me and my dad, and I'm just going to show them, breeze through them really quick. So this is the one we took at the All the Way There podcast picnic yesterday. Oh, cookout yesterday. That was cute. Favorite one, y'all. Look at my daddy with his afro. That's me. That little baby is so cute. And then this is my sister, guys. That's my dad and my sister. My mom and my dad. I love that picture. And then this is a family one. And I chose this picture with Angel's dad in it too, because it's Father's Day and my brother-in-law. So I wanted to show them off too, because all of these men are great examples of what dad should be. If they took a course, they would be teaching it. So we'll go from there. And Tanya and Kalani, they wanted to offer something to the dads out there and say something. We'll let you have the floor.
Just keep up the good work. Like on my page, I said, just kudos to those dads who are who stepped into and stepped up to being, being a dad, and being not just a bio dad, but maybe a stepdad, or an adoptive parent. So kudos to all of you men out there that are that's doing that.
I agree. And I will put some pictures up on our page later. Totally forgot to do that, but I am very grateful for Kev. And I would say it is okay to ask for help. So if you're like a new dad, want to be dad, or even if you're a mature dad, been a dad for a while, it is okay to ask for help from other fathers or just from people that you know, and ask questions, just to get it right, because it's not about you all the time. It's about your kids and what they need. So humble yourselves if you need to, put yourselves out there, step out of your comfort zone just to get your kids what they need.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice. Yeah.
Where are all my people at this? Is a great topic today. Is a weekly cast. Let's do this, family. I love these ladies. Oh, thank you, Beatrice. We appreciate that. So we just wanted to show our appreciation to all the great guys in our lives. We were going to wish you a happy Father's Day. And keep on being examples. And like Kevin was saying, when you are a great example with your own kids, you are also great examples with other kids, because they are watching. They are standing back watching. And kids do know when people say something and they really ain't about it. They
know when you genuinely care too.
Yeah.
Like I just look at the kids that Kev has coached. They know when you genuinely care, because he's been going to his players' games. They look forward to his stories, his encouragement. They look up to him. So they know when you care. And so you have to just keep your heart right for that as well to receive. And yeah.
So we want to thank y'all for coming on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Gracing us with your presence. My dad for gracing us with his presence.
Looking all dapper.
I know.
Keela made me do it.
Hey, you know how I do. I was like, Dad, what are you wearing? That was the first thing I said. Did I not call you? What are you wearing? You're like,
oh my goodness.
Well, Tanya, you already know me. You've been knowing me for 20-some years. You know how I do. So happy Father's Day to you both, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, and don't grill if you don't want to. I only get on that grill today if you want to, because I know fathers,
Right.
you know, they end up grilling on Father's Day. I only do that if that's your thing. That's for all the dads out there.
Well, that's my dad's thing and my brother-in-law thing, so I won't have nobody else on the grill. We'll just have them do it afterwards because somebody else being on the grill, we're not gonna eat that. So okay, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Maybe, but what I'm saying is we're not gonna eat that. So, but Tanya, we've been kind of off sidetracked. So you normally give a challenge. Give the dads a challenge outside of the grill for this week.
Outside of the grill. So you want me to challenge them? You don't want me to challenge them not to grill today on Father's Day?
That's some good advice. But what's another challenge?
Another challenge. Let's see. How about try to spend individual time with each of your kids if you have them. And then if you don't, then find some other kid to pour into that maybe they don't have a father or active father at home.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good challenge.
Because they need love too. Everyone needs some love.
That's right. I appreciate it. And you know, Sean is a mentor, so he do that on regular. So that's a good thing.
That's how I met Kev when I had a mentoring program, brother to brother mentoring at the school that I used to teach in. He was one of the most faithful people that showed up.
So what I need to do, mentor program. That's how you make Kev. Okay, got it. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna end it on that note. Everybody have a wonderful Sunday. Kalani warned us that storms are coming, so make sure you do your grocery shopping right quick, or however, stay in the house, stay safe, and have a wonderful week.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you
Later.
later.
Happy Father's Day.